Under the final arch of the underworld, before a soul is allowed to rise again, there stands a woman with no name spoken aloud. She waits in silence, holding a single bowl filled with a liquid that has no color and no scent. This is Meng Po, the goddess of forgetting. She does not guide or punish or judge. Her task is simpler and far more permanent. She makes the dead forget. Every soul that passes through Diyu, the realm of the dead, must drink from her bowl before rebirth. Without forgetting, they cannot move on. They cannot be reborn. It is not a choice. It is law. Meng Po has held her place longer than most gods can remember. She does not age, she does not speak, and no soul ever recalls her face. Still, they all drink. Diyu is not a place of fire or torment for all who enter. Most souls walk through its gates carrying the weight of memory. Some are peaceful, others are broken, but all are heavy. The memories of life cling to them like fog. Faces they loved, moments they regret, fears that followed them even in death. They step forward slowly, eyes blank, mouths open to speak, but no sound escapes. Meng Po stands still at the path between realms. One by one, they approach. One by one, she lifts the bowl. Her hands are pale and motionless. She does not offer comfort. She does not offer pain. She offers only forgetting. The soup inside the bowl is not made of herbs or fire. It is said to be brewed from the waters of the river of forgetfulness, mixed with pieces of clouded thought, lost names, and fading dreams. Each bowl is the same. Each sip erases everything. Names vanish, stories end. Love disappears. Some souls cry as they drink. Others simply fall into silence before the liquid reaches their lips. But none can resist its effect. Even those who fought wars to be remembered forget. Even those who swore to find their loved ones again forget. In the end, all memories dissolve. And Meng Po turns to the next. In the early stories, no one knew where Meng Po came from. Some say she was once mortal, a woman who lost everything in life and chose to forget so deeply that she became the very force of forgetting. Others claim she was born from the first breath of silence after death, shaped by the void left behind when a soul moves on. Regardless of her origin, her purpose has never changed. She is the final gate before renewal. In the cold shadows of Diyu, many pass her unaware. They stumble across the bridge of forgetfulness, looking back at the life they left behind, unaware that their memories are about to vanish forever. They see her only at the last moment, and even then, they do not recognize her. To the dead, she appears like a shadow, a figure formed from stillness, neither comforting nor frightening. She does not force the bowl into their hands. She simply waits, and eventually, every soul accepts. Her presence carries no judgment. Whether the soul was kind or cruel, noble or deceitful, makes no difference. Memory itself is neutral. It is the burden, not the crime. And Meng Po takes it away. There are old beliefs that say, if a soul remembers even one thing after drinking, that soul will be restless in their next life. A flicker of a face, a song, a scent, anything at all, can lead to confusion, suffering, or unfinished longing. That is why Meng Po's role is sacred. Her forgetfulness is not cruelty. It is protection, not for the soul, but for the world they are about to enter. In one tale, a soul refused the bowl. He held on to the image of a child he had lost, a child he swore he would find again. Meng Po did not stop him. She did not move. She simply watched. And as the soul stepped forward without drinking, his body began to blur. His form cracked like glass under pressure. Before reaching the end of the bridge, he collapsed into dust. Not because he broke a rule, but because memory has weight, and the path forward cannot carry it. Another tale speaks of a woman who begged Meng Po to let her remember her lover. Just his name, nothing more. She cried for hours in silence, because tears do not fall easily in Diyu. Meng Po listened, but did not speak. Then she lifted the bowl. The woman took it with shaking hands, and when she drank, she smiled. Because even that memory, even the pain of wanting to remember, was gone. Meng Po does not feel pride or sorrow. She does not change her pace or shift her face. She is as constant as forgetting itself. Every story about her ends the same way. A soul drinks. A life is erased. A new life begins. She does not linger on their pasts. She does not wonder what they will become. Her work is not to imagine. It is to empty. In the realm of Diyu, there are many judges and guardians, each with their roles and punishments, but none are as quiet or as final as Meng Po. While others deliver trials or measure sins, she simply waits. She does not carry chains or weapons. Her tool is a single bowl, always full, always ready. It is said that not even the rulers of Diyu speak above a whisper when passing by her. They respect her not out of fear, but out of understanding. Her power is not one of destruction, but of reset. She is the only one who touches every soul, regardless of what they were in life. No one escapes her reach. In older scrolls, her name is rarely written, but her symbol appears often a bowl over water or a veiled woman standing at a bridge. She is the still point in the chaos of the afterlife. Without her, the system would collapse, not because she holds it together, but because without forgetting, there can be no true rebirth. Memories can poison new lives. They can drag emotions from old wounds into fresh hearts. Meng Po keeps that from happening. She makes sure each soul starts clean, even if they don't deserve it. Especially if they don't deserve it. There are temples that once honored her, though few remain. Offerings were left not to ask for favor, but to thank her for erasing what could not be forgiven. In one carved tablet recovered from a collapsed shrine, there was a single line left legible. It read, "The one who drinks forgets. The one who serves remembers." Scholars debated its meaning, but perhaps it is simple. Meng Po remembers what we cannot. She holds the weight so we do not have to. There is a story told in secret by monks who study death. It says that when the world ends, when the stars go silent and all lives have run their course, Meng Po will drink her own soup and fall into the same forgetting she gave to others. Not because she wants peace, but because it will mean the cycle is complete. Until that day, she waits by the water, in a place where time has no edge and the wind never stirs, and souls come to forget. And she watches, and she pours, and she waits. It is said that once a soul tried to thank her before drinking. She looked at him for a long moment, and for the first and only time she spoke. Her voice was quiet but clear, and she said only those who forget may begin again. The bowl she carries is not always the same in appearance. Sometimes it looks like jade, smooth and green, carved with ancient symbols that no soul can read. Other times it appears wooden, aged, and cracked, as if passed down through lifetimes. But no matter how it looks, it always holds the same liquid. Some say it glows faintly under the dim sky of Diyu. Others say it reflects only the face of the drinker, never Meng Po's. The soup itself has no taste. Those who describe it in legends say it feels like warm silence, like swallowing fog, like drinking the pause between heartbeats. It does not burn, it does not chill, it simply removes. Over the centuries, many have tried to understand how Meng Po knows what to erase. The answer is always the same. She knows because she remembers. She does not ask questions, but every soul that approaches her carries a story, a weight, a sound that only she can hear, as if their memories speak in a language too old for words. She listens not with ears, but with stillness, and then she lifts the bowl. No judgment, no comment, only the offer. This is her purpose. This is what the universe shaped her to do. And though countless lives are reborn clean because of her, no one builds temples in her name anymore. No prayers are whispered to her before sleep. Her role is necessary, but never celebrated. She is not feared like the judges of hell, nor worshipped like the gods of heaven. She is something in between, a guardian of balance, too quiet to be noticed and too important to be ignored. Some philosophers say that forgetting is the highest form of mercy. Others say it is the cruelest. Meng Po does not answer those debates. She is not here to decide if forgetting is right. She is here to make sure it happens. And in that act, she holds power greater than any punishment or reward. A new life built on a forgotten one. A soul freed from the noise of who it used to be. Her silence is not emptiness. It is space for something new to begin. Her hands never shake. Her face never changes. Her duty never ends. She watches each soul pass, drink, forget, and disappear into the path ahead. And when the path is clear again, she turns to the next. Some say Meng Po has no soul of her own because she gave it up long ago so that she could bear the weight of all others. Others say she once had a name but drank her own soup to forget it and remain neutral forever. Whatever the truth is, no one remembers and she never tells. Her presence is not warm nor cold, but absolute. When she stands at the edge of the bridge, everything else seems to quiet. Even the wind avoids her. She has no throne, no crown, no title carved in stone, but her role is older than most gods. She is not a ruler, but a force like gravity, like sleep, like silence. There are scrolls found in mountain temples that mention her indirectly referring to the one who serves the last sip or the shadow before the path. Priests who copied them often avoided drawing her form, claiming that too much detail invited forgetting into their own minds. Some say the ink would fade after a few days, no matter what material was used. These are only rumors, but they persist because people fear what they do not understand. And Meng Po is not meant to be understood. Her existence is not a story with beginning, middle, and end. It is a pattern, a ritual, a quiet truth. Rebirth cannot happen without erasure. Her gift is not seen until after it is given, and never by those who receive it. That is why no one remembers her face, not because it is hidden, but because it is forgotten the moment they drink. There are myths that speak of her walking through the upper world, just once in the shape of an old woman carrying an empty bowl. Those who crossed her path felt strange afterward, unable to recall where they were going or why they started walking in the first place. It is said she was testing the strength of memory outside of Diyu. The experiment did not last long. She returned to her place at the bridge because the weight of the living was too loud. In her realm, only the dead move slowly enough to be still. Only they are quiet enough to be heard. The soup she pours is not punishment. It is a mercy that no one thanks her for. But Meng Po never asks for thanks. She does not want to be remembered. She wants the souls to forget. There are moments when the silence near Meng Po becomes heavier than the souls themselves. As they approach her one by one, something inside them stirs, even before the bowl is lifted. A trembling in their essence, a flicker of resistance not rooted in memory, but in instinct. Some part of them knows this is the final moment of what they once were. And though their lips do not move their eyes, often searchers hoping to find recognition, compassion, anything. But her eyes are not cruel nor kind. They are still like deep water that does not ripple even when disturbed. In that silence, their stories vanish before they are told. No soul walks away with the last word. No one asks questions. The transition is absolute. She does not watch them leave. She only watches them arrive. When the next soul steps forward, she lifts the bowl again. No ceremony, no delay. Just the unchanging ritual of release. It is through her that the world maintains balance. If memories crossed into new lives freely, they would accumulate until nothing was new. Until every soul carried not only its own past, but the weight of centuries. There would be no forgiveness, no freedom. Only endless echoes of regret. Meng Po prevents that with every bowl she offers. Her work is invisible in the world above, but its effects are everywhere. In every child who does not remember the sorrow of a past life, in every smile that is not haunted, in every dream that feels unfamiliar yet safe. These are the traces of her influence, soft and silent, more powerful than any god of thunder or war. She changes nothing by force. She changes everything by removing what no longer belongs. This is why the underworld is quiet, because she stands at its edge, catching every last sound and sealing it away. Not to destroy, but to protect. Not to erase out of hate, but to make room for something that has not yet been born. Meng Po is not just the goddess of forgetting. She is the beginning of every story that comes after. Among the countless souls that pass through Diyu, not all of them arrive the same. Some drift as if asleep, unaware of their journey or their end. Others cling to fragments of memory more stubbornly than most. A face, a sound, a scent that will not fade. These souls are the ones Meng Po approaches with the greatest care, though her expression never changes. She knows which ones carry dangerous attachments. A soldier who remembers the war and cannot let go of his duty. A mother who still feels the weight of a child in her arms. A ruler who fears losing control, even in death. To these she offers the bowl the same way as always, but with an understanding older than language. They may hesitate, they may resist, but none can avoid the pull of forgetting forever. If they do not drink, they will not pass, and the underworld will not force them forward. It will wait, sometimes for days, sometimes for centuries. Time does not move in Diyu as it does above, and Meng Po never grows impatient. She waits because she knows that eventually they will understand that they cannot carry their past into the next world, that their pain cannot build a future. In one rare tale, a soul drank willingly before Meng Po lifted the bowl. He had already let go. He smiled at her and nodded, and the soup had no work left to do. When he vanished into the path of rebirth, it was said that no trace of sorrow followed him. That was the ideal ending, the one Meng Po hopes for each time but never expects. Most souls are not so ready. They need the soup. They need the silence. They need her. She is the final kindness before the unknown. Not all creatures in the underworld serve mercy. Some enforce punishment with fire and chains, but Meng Po enforces nothing. She simply offers, and the offering is always accepted. Eventually. In this way, she has shaped more lives than any god in the sky. She has seen more faces than the stars have names, and she has forgotten everyone, not because she lacks memory, but because she knows the weight of carrying too much. That is the secret no scroll explains. Meng Po does not erase because she must. She erases because she understands, because she remembers, so that others do not have to. In the quietest corners of Diyu, where the stone paths curve beyond sight, there are whispers not carried by wind, but by memory itself. Echoes of lives that once were held briefly in the air before vanishing at the edge of the bridge. Some say those echoes gather near Meng Po for a moment, clinging to her presence like mist before dissolving completely. It is not her doing. It is the nature of forgetting. She is not a thief of memory. She is a guide out of it. Those echoes are not meant to stay. They are the final breath of what was before, the first breath of what will be. Among the legends surrounding her, one of the most mysterious speaks of a soul that never arrived. A life so fragmented, so broken that it scattered before reaching the bridge. Meng Po stood holding the bowl for days, but no form appeared. The river did not ripple. The sky did not shift. When at last the remnants of that soul gathered in silence, she poured the soup directly onto the ground. The mist vanished instantly, and the path remained still. Some believe that soul became part of her bowl, that its memory was absorbed, and will be offered to others drop by drop across eternity. Others believe it was her way of mourning, not with words, not with tears, but with one act of quiet mercy. Her silence is not emptiness. It holds meaning beyond speech. In the mortal world, stories of her reach only those who seek them. Old monks, hermits who dream of their past lives, artists who cannot explain the faces they paint without knowing them. They write her name in hidden corners of scrolls or carve symbols beneath the legs of statues. Not as a warning, but as respect. Not out of worship, but remembrance. And even then they know she will never answer. For Meng Po does not exist to be called upon. She does not grant favors. She does not change fate. She only fulfills her role and then returns to the edge of the bridge, waiting for the next soul to arrive. As the dead approach her, they often feel lighter even before drinking, as if their bodies know the burden is almost gone. Their minds may resist, but their forms move forward. The soup is not cold nor warm. It is not sweet nor bitter. It is simply the end of memory. And when they drink, they are no longer who they were. They are empty, ready to be filled by the life ahead, ready to begin again. At the edge of a bridge, a soul once stood trembling, unable to release what he carried. Meng Po did not force him. She waited, and then she whispered, "You came here carrying stories, but they are no longer yours. What you loved, what you feared, what you swore never to forget, none of it will follow you. Let go. The next life is waiting."